Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special Saturday session of the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where two sports lovers and sometimes three give their hot takes.
We've had 3 for a few days in a row here.
Y'all must be special.
Not as special as our special guest you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen. Former Saints player, All-Pro, Pro Bowl returner for the New Orleans Saints 2015 Hall of Fame Saints enshrinee, Michael Lewis. How we doing today?
I'm great.
Love to see him here. We want to thank everybody for watching in on Radio House Studios, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, listening in on newrockradio.us. We appreciate everyone who's in here right now listening to us and about to listen to Mr. Lewis here. We're going to give an absolutely fantastic interview. New Rock Radio, streaming your favorite rock music 24/7. Also got newcountryradio.us up and going right now. Over 1,000 songs on that playlist. You're going to love it. Check us out on Facebook or YouTube at Off the Dome Sports Podcast or on our Twitter at @off_the_dome pod. We also want to thank our sponsor, Brignac Mortgage, where Sean Brignac, President and CEO, can assist in all your lending needs, residential, investment, and commercial properties. Check out Sean on YouTube at Sean Brignac and www.brignacmortgage.com. Thanks again to Brignac Mortgage for supporting the Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Michael Lewis sitting to my right here in between Byron and I. So, you can correct me if I'm wrong at any point, but
I will.
From the from the New Orleans area, graduated from Grace King.
Yes.
Didn't play high school football past the freshman year, and then ended up finding your way into the NFL for the New Orleans Saints, your hometown team.
Yes.
With one of the greatest nicknames in sports history, the Beer Man. So we know you drove a Budweiser truck in the New Orleans area, but how do you go from being the Beer Man behind a wheel to the Beer Man on the field?
Well, the name kind of Chris Berman actually picked up the name.
Okay.
I think it was a preseason game, and we was playing in Denver, and that's pretty much that put me on the map for the New Orleans Saints. Once I scored a touchdown, I scored a punt return for about 83 yards. I think they was just opening up Mile High Stadium. They just opened it during preseason coming in. So that year was the first year, so me scoring. And that's how I wound up sticking because, a lot of people didn't think I was going to make it, as far as I did as well. So just getting along with that, I love the name because it actually keeps me grounded to all the normal people because I consider myself normal and, I don't care what other people think.
That's a good attitude to have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't see yourself, I don't, me, as a celebrity when I lived a normal life all the way up until I got to the NFL. So, being a normal person and still do normal things, it's not like, totally different from how, guys that was high school superstars go to college and things like that. Me, it was totally different, like, semi-pro football, indoor football, arena football, flag football, all these different leagues and stuff just to get to the NFL. And I wasn't even looking to make it to the NFL. That's the crazy part.
So what was when you went from being a beer truck driver into those I know you went to NFL Europe, you played semi-pro ball, you played flag football.
Yeah.
How did you actually get involved into that, and how did that actually lead you to playing in the black and gold?
Flag football was the biggest thing that I was doing at first, and then I played semi-pro football with a bunch of friends, guys that I know played in semi-pro in Kenner. Still playing flag football as well. I was driving a janitorial truck to Baton Rouge every day, delivering stuff like that, and I heard about the indoor league that they had in Baton Rouge. So friends of mine that I play on the flag football team with, we all talked, they called, we heard about it, and we all got together on that Saturday morning and drove down to Baton Rouge and tried out for the team, and we all made the 65-man roster to go to training camp, and we all had a pact saying that we are in this car together, we're going to make this team, and we all made the team. We went 15-1 that year, won the World Championship, so it was the first professional Louisiana team to actually win a championship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, before the Saints did.
That's a great little thing to be able to tell your friends, right?
Oh yeah. It was great though, and that led because I started in Baton Rouge driving trucks. I started in Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And then when I moved back home, I started working in New Orleans, and that's where everything happened. me driving in New Orleans. And what pushed me further, I hurt myself. And the doctor told me that I need to find something. If I do this for the next 5 years, I can ruin myself, like my back or whatever.
Wow.
And told me I need to find something that I love doing, and it was football. So I went sending out tapes and stuff to a lot of arena football teams and stuff like that, and I did get a call back and went try it out, and they told me I was going to go into training camp, and the rest is history after that.
That's
I mean, there's a little
yeah.
bit more to it, but
Right.
yeah, that's what it started at.
No, that's a great story. You don't hear much stuff like that going on in today's
No,
NFL.
No, it's
you-
different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of guys who are 5-star in high school, go to college, they're a first-round draft pick, and that's how they work out.
Yes. It's great for me because I get to go back and talk to kids that don't have those things or whatever. And I heard Dion say, stars don't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, people give you all these different, stars, and you're a 5-star, you're a 4-star, whatever. I always tell kids, man, you put in the work and you grind. You know what I'm saying? The star ain't gonna get you anywhere. I don't care how many stars you have on. You still got to put in that work. So if you put in that work and you outwork the next person, man, that star ain't gonna mean nothing to them because you can elevate over that star. That star can actually, disappear.
Yeah.
Your work ethic shows everything. And I have a lot of people be like, man, I'm trying to do what you did. I'm like, nah, you don't want to go the route I went. My
That's a tough route.
It was long.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a different route. But I try to talk to a lot of young men about all the new leagues that they have. I like, you have to continue on playing football somewhere
Yeah.
to be seen. You can't go to college and then you try it and you don't make it, but you're still trying, but you just working out, doing your own little thing. That's not going to happen.
Right.
So you got to get in these different leagues or whatever to be seen. And that's what happened to me. Getting seen was playing, we played on national TV one night, and that's how it all happened for me to start getting looks from the NFL.
That's one of the greatest journeys I've ever heard personally. I think that's a real testament to how hard you work. And,
Yes.
I think it kind of embodies that New Orleans, Louisiana mentality
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
just absolutely going for whatever you want and never stopping until you get there.
And that's the way you have to be, you know, because nobody's going to give you anything. Like kids today, what I do now, I talk to a lot of kids, but kids today, they have like personal trainers and all these different things,
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I didn't know nothing about a personal trainer. I had a real job, and at night I would go work out by myself. Like nobody trained me. Nobody told me what I needed to do. These are the things that I did on my own, and that's why my work ethic, I say you might be better than me, but you won't outwork me.
Yeah.
And I will work hard enough to put myself on that same level. So when you slacken up, I know my work ethic going to put me above all of them.
Yeah, it's like that famous saying, hard work outplays talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Exactly.
That's a perfect saying, and
Exactly.
I think that's a great quote to really embody our guest here, Michael Lewis. So you finally make it to the NFL.
Yes.
You're from Louisiana, from the New Orleans area. It's where you grew up. You finally walk on the field wearing a black and gold jersey. Take us back to that moment. How does that feel?
It was different. Well, a lot of people don't know, but my first game I ever played in, I was in Philly.
Okay.
I was in training camp with
Yeah.
Philly in 2000, and I played in Cleveland. And when I got released, when I came home from that game, I called with my best friend, and I told him straight up, they can cut me tomorrow. I live my dream. That was like my dream was to say
Just
I
to
went
play one game?
Well, went to training camp,
Yeah.
playing an NFL game, because I can look back and say I gave myself a chance, which I wasn't even looking for the chance, but when it came about, that's all I was looking for. When I got released in Philly, I worked out in Jacksonville first, and then I came home and I worked out for New Orleans, and they told me they was going to send me to Europe and all of that type of stuff. I went back to working, not knowing that same year they actually called me back in 2000 and put me on the practice squad before I went to Europe.
Okay.
So I was on the practice squad for the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season. And then the first playoff game and stuff that we wound up winning with the Saints, I was on the practice squad then. And then I went to Europe and came back. But then coming back home and playing for your home team. And I tell people all the time, they was like, man, that's a blessing. I say, yes, it's a blessing and a curse. They say, why is it a blessing and a curse? I say, the blessing is you playing at home, your family, everybody get to see you. The curse is you at home. You have no scapegoat. You don't have nowhere to run off to. When the season over with, everybody goes back to where they're from.
Yep.
Yeah.
I ain't had nowhere to go.
You went 5 minutes down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had to take the punishment of listening to the fans complaining and stuff like that. I couldn't run from nothing. So it was a blessing and a curse, though, but I'll take it any day.
Yeah. Well, it ended up working out for you.
It did.
So I want you to walk us through the 2002 season in particular. So
Okay.
2002, for the people who don't know, Michael went Pro Bowl, All Pro at returner, best returner in the league without a doubt. Set an NFL record for combined kick and punt return yardage, 2,432 yards total. That's 1807 on kickoff, 625 on punt. Had a couple return touchdowns. Led the league in all of those stats. What do you think led to that 2002 season, and what made you successful?
Okay. 2001. So 2001, I was the punt and kick returner. When I first started, I was the punt and kick returner. So I had to go against Chad Martin, who was already on the team. Deuce McAllister he just drafted in the second round.
Yep.
He also caught punts and stuff when he was at Ole Miss. So I had those guys that I had to go against and wind up making the team. But what everybody didn't know was I never caught punts before.
Oh, wow.
I played arena football. There's
Yeah.
no punt in
Yeah.
arena football. When I
Right.
played semi-pro football, I didn't catch punts. I catch kickoffs. So I didn't know how to catch punts. And that was a problem for me. So after the fourth game of the season, I got cut. And they put me on the practice squad. Guy, Ricky Porter, who was working for the Saints, he was a player development guy. He's the one that, talked to all the players and stuff like that. He literally taught me how to catch punts. He taught me would do a 101 football thing during the time I was on the practice squad. And he was like, you don't catch punts, you read punts. So we went through the whole thing. So that off season, I took 2 weeks off. And then I went to the facility every day, and I would catch hundreds of ball every single day, 5 days a week.
Coming back to that work ethic you were talking about.
Exactly. That what led into the 2002 season because I wanted people to know that I wasn't going to be a fly-by-night story.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy drove trucks. He played in the NFL 1 year, blah, 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 and disappeared. No, I had bigger things on my mind. And I just said to myself, God didn't bring me this far to turn his back on me.
Yeah.
He has a plan for me. So I just gave it to him, and I just said to myself, I know I can work. So I just worked every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. 2002 season start, I had a goal. It was on my mind. My goal wasn't to do what I did, but my goal was to always put our offense in the best field position as possible and put our defense in the best field position as possible as well because I was also on the punt kick return
Yeah.
on all special teams. So I got a chance to do those things. The best part about that is I can stop the other returners from returning punts and stuff. So I always had that on my mind as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to outdo me. So I'm going to make sure of that because I'm on the other end making tackles as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it helps you being a returner to also help on those coverage
Yes.
plays as well because you knew what they wanted to
Exactly.
do. You knew exactly how they were going to approach the game. So it kind of, putting in the work
Yes.
helped you to kind of work both sides of the field.
Yes, it did. But I can't take all the credit, man. We had my tender in the league underneath Al Everett, was my special team coach who passed a couple of years ago or whatever. But I think he was like one of the best special team coaches ever to me. Because I think when I played for him, I played all my years I played underneath him. I think out of all those years, I think we had like 5 number one special team.
Wow. Gotta give glory to the coaches too,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Players, I had some great players as well. I played with Steve Gleason, Fred McAfee, who was like the guy that actually took me under his wing when I came on the practice squad. So Fred McAfee, the one that actually told me that special team was going to be the way that I stay in the NFL. And I listened to every word that came out of his mouth, man. And I take everything off to him, man, because I call him like my big brother. He's the one that actually brought me in and put me under his wing, and I rode it to his coattail all the way to the Pro Bowl, just as well as he did, as well as mine.
Yeah, I think special teams is like that third phase of football that gets overlooked a lot. That, in the end, that can be the way you win the game.
All right, I'm going to give you some stuff that my special team coach told me.
Okay.
He said, look here, fellas, we all in the special team room. He said, on Sundays, he said, you got these guys that get their name called out, starting offense or the starting defense or whatever, right? He said, all that getting glorified and stuff running out on the field. He said, but guess what? Those guys ain't nothing without us. I said, what you mean, coach? He said, we're the starters of the NFL. There's not one game that starts in the NFL that's not special team.
That's
so
true.
we're the true starters.
That's
so,
true.
And he
First
just said
ones
it
on the
like that.
field.
It was just so funny. I was like, okay, I can take that.
That's funny. I like that.
I'm a real starter. I'm the true
Yeah.
starter. Regardless of what it is, kickoff team or punt team, kickoff or kickoff return, we're starters.
You were
So
you were the very first person on the field every game,
Yes.
no matter what.
No matter what.
I love that. Byron, you want to give him a question, man?
Yeah. So 2015, you were inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame.
Yes.
How was that moment? I mean, it's got to be crazy. It's got to be, just you're probably starstruck. Just
Well,
walk us through that.
I don't think starstruck will be the thing. Like you always say, I put in the work. The numbers shows. Now, as fast as it came to me, now that was different. I always had in my heart that I would be in the Saints Hall of Fame, but not as fast. And people think, oh, that's no, it's not. It's the honest truth. Numbers don't lie.
Yep.
And that's all I tell people. Like, first of all, I'm the most humble person you can ever meet. Like, I take pictures, I do whatever. I'm out. I'm not glorified. No, that don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? It was my job. I did the best I can do at the time I was doing it. So I never looked at it as being cocky or whatever. I just know the numbers that I put in, and owning most of the Saints special team numbers,
It's going to get you.
You would get there, but I didn't know it was going to be as fast as it was, and that's all I said was, I knew I was going to make it, but not this fast. I thought it was going to be, because you got to wait 5 years after,
Right,
or whatever it is, But I didn't think it was going to be
that soon.
And that's the thing that shocked me with it. You know what I'm saying? And going in with another New Orleans guy, Tyrone Hughes, the guy who had all the numbers that I passed up on most of the Saints whatchamacallit, to go in with we're the only two guys that was actually born in New Orleans that's actually in New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame.
Hey, that's another good stat too. I love it. That's a great, not only for you, but I'm sure your family loves it as well.
Oh, yes. It was big because the simple fact is that, when you really go to a game and you got 30 of your family members, besides the other ones that, that don't want to go to the game, but they're watching at home, you know what I'm saying? No, you can pick up the phone and they're right there. You don't have to call. Like when I was in Jersey playing arena football, I had to call my grandfather at night, talk to him on the phone and stuff like that. After every game, man, I would leave the game and go straight to my grandfather's house and ask him what he thought, what was wrong. Like I would get him to critique me before I go watch, because when you playing, you don't hear what the commentators and people are saying or what's going on. So I wouldn't know. And then when you watch game film, there's nothing said. It's just you just watching. So I used to ask him like what was said or what he thought or whatever, just to get feedback or whatever. And that used to always prepare myself for the following week, what I need to do, how do I adjust myself and things like that as well.
So your family helped you out throughout this whole football journey as well?
Oh, yes. Family is everything, man. Like I said, if you don't have family behind you, you can have family that comes in and things like that. If you don't have family and it's just you, like I said, when I was in Jersey playing arena ball, I grind. I mean, and that's what the work ethic and all of that. I know this is my job. I'm going out and do my job or whatever, but when you can go and sit down and talk to family and things like that, it makes it a little bit more easy. It takes a lot of pressure off or whatever from you as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you can not just, I can pick up the phone and call, but I can visually sit down and have a talk, heart-to-heart talk, and they're going to be crucial about it. My family wasn't like, oh, yeah, you was this was wrong. You did. My grandfather used to always, he never, sugarcoated anything.
Right.
Like what he thought. And, I tell people, he used to come to every practice when I was trying out for the team. He used to come to Nickel State every day. He's there at every practice, never missed a practice. And I never thought, there's years when I made the team and I'm playing, and one day I just sat down and I asked him, I said, Papa, you ever thought I was going to make the football team? And he just looked at me and was like, boy, I ain't going to lie. I used to look at you with those big guys. I was like, my poor grandson ain't got a chance. If he would have told me that he didn't think I was going to make it, I probably would have quit. Because his word mean everything to me. And I'm like, if he think that I ain't going to make it, I'm like, why am I wasting my time? I can go ahead on and continue on working and move on for that. He never said nothing. He was there every practice or whatever. But what made me, when I see him out there, it made me work harder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to, make him happy, and I'm trying to make sure that our name stands for something. So, that also pushed me as well. Seeing him come in every single day, that pushed me to work harder as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think without a doubt the Michael Lewis name is not only synonymous with Saints football, but New Orleans in general now. Yes. Just because of what you've done for the city and for the state of Louisiana as a whole. So kind of moving on from that football journey into, the personal life of Michael Lewis. What's the post-career looks like so far? What have you been up to? How's that journey been going for you?
Well, you know what? It was crazy because, once I retired, I worked in the front office for 6 years.
Okay.
Also, so I was a team ambassador for the New Orleans Saints. So, I still work for them as well. I still do my appearances and, get to go to schools and talk to kids and stuff like that. So I'm still irrelevant, with the organization and stuff like that, which is always great. But I'm a trainer, man. I'm a personal trainer. I train guys, for combine and stuff like that. I got a couple of guys still in the league that I work with, So that was a passion of mine, was getting into the training thing. And the only reason why I say that is I didn't want to get into the coaching.
Okay.
And I thought about the coaching thing, and I'm like, nah.
Not your speed?
I kind of like it, because I know what I can bring to the table or whatever, but my passion is kids.
Gotcha.
So I have a love for kids, and that's my thing. Like, if I can get a kid that's 7, 8 years old and I'm start training him now, working with him and trying to get him to run right and do certain things and, build his character and, let him know that, you're a leader. You don't have to be this old or this age or this thing to be a leader. You can lead at a young age and, and I always tell people you lead by example. So, working on that, and then you see that kid, grow and blossom, and as he moves up and get older, whatever, you have all those years that you have a little bit. And I tell people all the time, it's not a lot. It's just a little bit to work with a kid just to make it special for him, And I just, like I said, I love kids, I just have a passion for kids always. Trying to do something, to help them out.
You were saying earlier you didn't have that personal trainer, so now being that for somebody else, I'm sure that's a really fulfilling experience.
Yes, it does. And then what even better is like, kids you train that's playing like middle school, high school football or whatever. Coach shows up in the stands and sit down and watch you play. You know what I'm saying? And that's the things that actually makes it special, because when they look in the stand and they see the guy that trains them in the stands watching them as well, it makes it a little bit special, because it's not just about what we do when we training or whatever. It's beyond that. And I always tell the kids, matter of fact, guys that's in the lead, I still text these guys. I watch them and everything. And I'll text them, like, when they play in the Super Bowl or anything that they're doing, I send text to them and everything. Even when they make the team, like, I know they're going through it and they got to make the team every year. And people think, oh, yeah, it's really a year-by-year contract. You can have a 5-year deal. Don't mean you're going to play all 5 years. So when they make a team, I check on them and see where they at or whatever. I send them a text message, congratulations, man, keep grinding. You know what it is. And, they text back, man, thanks, coach, we appreciate everything. So, I just try to stay in those guys' lives as well, and it's not about anything else. It's just that, I'm proud of what they did, beyond when they left me to go to the NFL, I love those type of things.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have, helping out kids, getting to a point where, you didn't, like we were saying, you didn't have that, and now you're giving it to somebody else. I think that speaks to your character.
Yeah.
Just teaching them the hard work, the dedication it takes to get to where they want to be. I think that's something that can't be understated.
It is. And, my saying is a little bit, it's like hard work, dedication equals success.
Yeah.
You got to work hard. You got to be dedicated. You'll be successful, regardless to what you're doing. It don't have to be in sports or anything. You work hard and you're dedicated to it, you're going to be successful.
Love that.
That's my little motto,
Yeah, for sure. You still keep up with the team?
Oh, of course. Come on,
just
man.
making sure.
Gotta make sure. Through, man. I'm black and gold through and through. I win, lose, or draw. I'm fighting every week.
I love that.
I don't
We're the
care
same
how
way.
I roll. I'm like,
we're the same way.
I don't care how we deal. Every week everybody, man, you think y'all gonna win? Of course. Or I'd be a fool not to think that we're not gonna win.
Yeah.
Oh, you got 9 people injured. Okay, you ever heard of the line? Next man up. Everybody get paid.
That's true.
I'm always I'm through and through, man.
You got to be special to be on the roster. So no matter who's on it, you're one of the top 53 for sure.
And that's hard to be.
Yeah, it is. But you've proven you can do it.
Oh yeah. I'm proving it, but man, it's still hard though.
I hear you.
Still hard.
The Saints have seen a lot of turnover over the past couple of years. In 2006, we saw Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yes.
Sean Payton, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, mend their minds and led us to a Super Bowl only 3 years later. But in the past 2 years, we've seen both of them leave the New Orleans Saints organization. So we have a lot of turnover going on. What do you think about that turnover? What have you seen from the Saints that have kind of either changed in a good way or changed in a bad way?
Well, it's always going to be changes. Everybody's not going to stay somewhere forever. I know Drew was going to retire eventually. he was going to try to do the Tom Brady thing, but you know, it happens. Coach Payton, you get burnt out, man. I mean, he been doing it, you know, for a long time, like a long time. You know, he needed a break himself. So, you know, Dennis, who been with Sean for a while, he went off to Oakland when there was the Raiders in Oakland, coached at the Oakland. Then he came back, you know, back with the organization, and now he's the head coach. I mean, you know, you need changes and things like that, you know. So when it comes to changing, you don't see a big difference in a change. And you might see different as far as play calling and how Sean reacts on the sideline. And, you know, they're two, like you say, they're two different coaches.
Yeah.
Sean was in your face and you see his emotion. He wears the emotion on his sleeve. Dennis Allen, a different coach. You know what I'm saying? He's more laid back. Now, he gets fired up, but he doesn't bring it out like how Coach Payton was. So, I mean, they have their own ways or whatever. I don't think it's nothing bad. I mean, you're going to have changes every year. You know, when it comes to the NFL, you got guys coming in, guys leaving or whatever. That's why I say this is your job. This is what you got to go out and do. I don't see nothing bad. I mean, it's football. I mean, you got to go out there and play regardless to what it is. Now, the bad part about everything is that, you know, injury plays a part in a lot of things. That's where your bad comes in at.
Yeah.
You know, your major guys are hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets bad. But that's when the other guys that been busting their tail trying to get on the field have this opportunity to step up to make those plays. So I don't never say, you know, the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? I think it's all good regardless to what it is. The bad part about it is that I hate seeing guys get injured and they can't play. But then you like, okay, that's why they pay other guys to step in and do those things. So you'll never hear me say that it's something bad about this organization because I don't see nothing bad about it from the top to the bottom. You know, it's just overall, guys got to go out and play. Somebody get hurt, you got to step in and play. You know, and that's just the way it is.
And we're seeing that right now, especially in the wide receiver room. Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry out 2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
And we've seen Chris Olave, a first-round rookie draft pick, be outstanding, I believe. I mean, you played receiver as well. You weren't just a returner.
Yes.
So what are you seeing out of the rookie Chris Olave that you're really impressed by?
Well, you can see where he came from, Ohio State, the type of guy that he was going to be. Being in this organization and being around those other guys, man, I mean, he know where he needed to be at when he walked up into that locker room. You have somebody like Michael Thomas who have all these numbers and all these things before he got injured, you know. So you already know you got that guy over there that's the star over here. So you on the other side, you're a first-round draft pick. You know you're going to be playing. So you got to elevate yourself from that rookie stuff don't really means nothing. You know, you're a rookie by paper.
Yeah.
But you got to be a grown man when you step up in it. It's time to be grown. It's time. It's no college. It's nothing that you're getting paid. Just time for you to be grown. And he's showing that he's going to be a grown man. He can't do nothing but get better.
Right.
And what he's showing now, you already see the upside of where he's going to be at. So, you know, I love the way that he comes out and play. And then you got Callaway and these other guys that's actually stepping up, you know, like they had to do last year.
Yeah,
You know
last
what
year
I'm
we
saying?
saw
So-
guys who, like Kevin White, for example.
Exactly.
Kevin White was a first-round pick in Chicago and then just kind of never found his footing in the NFL. And then last year we see a Trevor Siemian to Kevin White Saints touchdown. If you would have told me before the season that was going to happen, I would have called you crazy.
Yes.
But it's stuff we saw due to injuries last year, and we're seeing a little bit of that same injury bug hit us this year. So, like you're saying, seeing guys step up is really big for us.
But the best part about the injury bug, I'm glad it's early and not late.
Yes.
Yes,
See, last
agreed.
year when it started happening towards it was like
Like the middle to the end.
middle,
Of the season.
yeah.
it was
and
like
now
those early double digits.
you're
yeah.
really trying to fight for a position. You know, even when we was when we had Drew the last couple of years or whatever, you got in the playoff, you get Taysom Hill and you got Murray. Both of them get hurt going into the game that could have led us to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Those are the things that you want and our defense stepped it up because think about it. During those years, the defense was hurt in the beginning of the season. And everybody always say, I heard a guy say that last week was, why do the New Orleans Saints start so slow on defense in the beginning and then towards the end? Well, injury used to play a part in that on the defensive side because at one time that year we had we didn't have our whole defensive starters start for like 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks together. You know what I'm saying? So now you got guys just in here, and there. And once they all got together and they started bonding, they went from like towards the middle back of the pack to the top 5 defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know, so it plays a part in it, man. Injury caused a part, but like I say, these new guys are stepping up and they're actually playing. And I take my hat off to them. Like it is a big thing that you got to go against other guys that's getting paid just as well. And those guys over there are the number one guys. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go against them. And you putting up numbers like they're doing. I'm not mad at all.
No, not at all. We saw that last season. Like I was saying, like. I think the Saints led the league in most different starters. We had something like 85 different players start games when you only get 53 people on the roster. So that turnover has been insane, whether it be through coaching or through player injury, losing free agents, draft, whatever the case may be. But this year, we signed a lot of big-name free agents.
Yes.
And not only that, but we brought
Hometown
Louisiana
boys,
people home.
Yes.
So you being a Louisiana hometown guy, seeing those other Louisiana hometown guys like Jarvis, like Tyran, seeing them come to town, what does that mean for you, not only as a football player, but as a New Orleans native?
It's great that you got guys wanting to come back home, because you got to think about it. At one time, we had people never even want to come to the New Orleans Saints football team, period.
Yeah.
And I've been here for a while, all my life. So, and I'm and I've seen it in and out. I've been seeing both sides. But, at one time, it's like, guys used to be here. If they get drafted here, they're trying to get out here as fast as possible. You know, so now you got guys wanting to come here. So that makes it even special that you got guys. And then you're talking about like hometown guys that want to come back home and play for their home team. I mean, because think about it. If you playing for your home team and you do something special, not just that, you playing at home, you go to playoff, you win a championship at home. At home, you know what I'm saying? That makes a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Once again, you at home. You got family. Everybody get to see you. Like on Sundays, on Mondays and Tuesdays, you can just pop up at grandma's house, mom's house, somebody in the family house. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you got to wait 17, 18, 19 weeks. You leave in July. You don't come back home if you're in the playoff until February.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you going that long. But when you at home and you get to see people every day.
Yeah.
Every single day. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a different comfort away from a lot of stuff, and then it also brings comfort. Like, you know what I'm saying, you get to clear your mind because you got family, get away from the football side of it or whatever, so that's a great thing as well.
Yeah, and I think that kind of speaks to the culture that guys like you help to build, where the New Orleans Saints aren't that organization where people are like, oh, I got to go to New Orleans, but it's more like, hey, I'm going to New Orleans. It's a team that people know succeed no matter what the circumstances. We've seen the Saints succeed over the past almost 20 years.
Yes.
Like, more than any other team almost. Only a couple other teams like the Patriots and teams like that you see succeed every year, but the Saints are right up there with them.
Yes.
So I think that speaks to the culture that the team has built in general. What do you think about the New Orleans Saints culture as a whole?
I think it's great. And then the biggest thing about it is that the culture that, with the organization is that they give back to the community. And see, that's what people don't realize is that, if you pay attention, man, they always got something going on.
Yeah.
You always got. And I'm not saying the NFL don't do it, because every team does it. But it's a different way you do it in New Orleans. Like I said, I was in Philly for a little while. I was in San Francisco as well. But at home, it's just totally different on how they're big on the community part. And that made a big, big difference. And I'm being honest. Like, I tell people all the time, it's like this organization don't run without the fans. The fans don't run without this organization. It's like it's hand in hand. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like a bind, a bind gesture. We all work together, and you can just tell. Like, you go places or whatever. You see anybody walk in a place and they known, and that's what it is. It's about being in the community. What you do is give back. Not what you do on Sunday, is what you do on those off days, and how, you go to different schools and stuff like that. That makes a big difference, and that's what makes this organization so much special.
Absolutely. And we see guys who aren't from Louisiana, have no connection to Louisiana whatsoever, turn into those guys.
Yes.
Like Cam Jordan got drafted here in 2011. If you told me he was from New Orleans, I'd believe you.
Yes.
Because of how much he does for the community. Same thing with big name guys like Demario Davis. He's doing the same thing. You see him give back with all of his organizations, all of his profits. So I think it really speaks to a really good organization that teaches football players not how to be good at football, but teaches them how to be good men too.
Yes. And it does, and that, like I said, a lot of people don't understand. It starts from the top and goes down to the bottom. You go from the top to the bottom, and you can see what Ms. Benson is doing as well within the organization and stuff like that, in the community and stuff. But just giving back is special, and I tell people that all the time, and that's why I was like so big into doing things in the community and things like that. I did a lot that people don't even know, and had nothing to do with the organization at all. And that's what was so different from me was I never cared about who saw or whatever. Like I would go to schools and stuff, and I know people, I know friends, I got people that teachers and stuff like that, or I might not even know a teacher or somebody. I might run into them and it was like, would you come to the school and talk to these kids and this and that? I said, give me a date, I'll be there, whatever. But I never would tell an organization or things like that because I never look for to be in the spotlight or anything like that. Like I kind of shied away from it. I love being in the community and doing things and stuff like that, but certain things I do, it was not about, for the organization or anything that it just was, I wanted to give back because I didn't have those things for myself growing up. I didn't have an NFL player come to my school and talk to us about, how important education is, do these certain things or whatever. So, that's why it was so important to me because, I didn't have those things. So I always want to give those things back that I see that can actually help a kid. You don't know what a kid is going through, family-wise or whatever, or what neighborhood he's growing up in or whatever. He's having a rough time, but just talking to that kid and, rubbing elbows and smiling and, let them know that, hey, don't be shocked if I pop back up on you. And I show up on them again.
Yeah.
They be shocked. Like that's tapping on the little window and I'm looking like, and they smiling and stuff like that. But it just shows, the love and, to give back like that, and it makes it special for those kids.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity for those kids to learn from someone who's been there before, knows what it takes to succeed in life. I'm sure they thank you, and I know we want to thank you for being on here right now. We really appreciate the opportunity to pick your brain. Let's keep it going. Let's talk about tomorrow. Saints versus Bengals. What are we looking forward to, Michael?
Well, I hopefully looking forward to a good game, but it's so crazy because it's you got the who that's and the who days.
Who days?
Yeah, that's going to get a little confusing.
No, it ain't. No,
okay.
it ain't.
No, it's not?
It ain't. No.
What about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase coming back to town?
That's what the crazy part comes in at because now you got a divided thing. You got all these LSU people that's Saints fans.
Yeah, we've
but
seen all
you
these
already
Saints fans
know-
kind of turn into Bengals fans last year
Yeah.
when they ran to the Super Bowl because
Well-
of these hometown heroes.
Well, I was one of those guys. I mean, I
was
didn't go
too.
to college, but I wanted those guys to win because they went to LSU. You know what I'm saying? And that's the school. So I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Like I was I was wishing those guys win. You know what I'm saying? Because of what they did for LSU and the state of Louisiana winning the national championship as well. So you're going to root for those guys, and just like anybody that went to LSU. That love those guys going to cheer for them. Even though, if you're a Saints fan, you're going to cheer for them. You don't want them to win, but, you want them to do good. That's just like anybody that I know that left and went somewhere else and came back and played. I didn't want them to win. Besides me, when I was in San Francisco, I was really trying to win. I was trying to do some dirt to them, but we still lost. So, it goes that way. But, yeah, man, Cincinnati, they brought a lot of fans down here. I'm telling you, there's a lot of them down here. So,
I think the atmosphere tomorrow is going to be
it's going to be
unrivaled.
great. Yeah, I ran across a couple of Cincinnati fans. I told them, I hope they have a great time in New Orleans and have all the fun they want except for tomorrow. I don't want them to have fun tomorrow.
No, they can have fun
tonight
all weekend.
Yeah,
go down Bourbon Street, do what
yes.
you need to do. But when you're in the Dome tomorrow, we're hoping you're not having a good time.
No. But I can say one thing about Saints fans: if they're not having a good time, they're going to have a good time because we're going to party about the fans in New Orleans. They got some fans around them. They'll buy them a beer too. You know,
Regardless
what I'm
of what
saying?
happens.
Regardless of what happens, we'll be like, all right, we respect it.
Yes,
Definitely should be a good game tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. I know you said you're going to be in the building, right?
I will.
So will I. I think the atmosphere is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to the football game itself. A team that's coming off a Super Bowl loss versus a team we've seen underperform last year. Again, we talked about that injury bug, but this matchup feels like it's going to be really, really close tomorrow, and I'm expecting a really close game.
Yeah. I always. I mean, it's the NFL. You always expect a close game.
Any given Sunday.
You already know. I done been down that road.
Yeah, many a time, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Looking forward to the rest of the season. If the Saints keep playing how they are, based on this past Seahawks game, what do you expect to see for the rest of the season?
I mean, you got to understand. You're going to have your ups and downs. I mean, it's the NFL. Every Sunday, like you say, any given Sunday. So you don't know what going to happen. You know, you just got to stay the course. And I think the problem with us in the first 4 games that we played, the 5 games, whatever we had, what we 2-3 or
2-3 right now.
The first 5 games. So you got to look at this. Our biggest problem is we start so slow.
Yeah, definitely.
That's been our problem. We play great games, but we got to fight and scratch and claw to get back into the game.
Yeah.
I think if we start off fast, I think it'll make it a little bit better for us.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
that's what I think we need to start moving towards, is starting fast and getting ourselves where we're not down 10 points, 15 points or whatever, playing catch-up ball and things like that. Because that puts you in a bad situation, you know, for turnovers and things like that, because you got to throw the ball a little bit more. You got to do certain things. You know, you're trying to do more than you have to try to score points and stuff like that. So I just think we need to just start off fast or whatever. But like you said, you got to take it 1 week at a time. You can't look beyond the next, you know, this team to the next team or whatever. It's 1 week at a time. And I think that's where it starts. It starts tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? When tomorrow you're at 500. And next week, this is what we had. You know, Coach Payton used to have a saying. He used to always say, you know, you do them in quarters. You got your first 4 games. You got your next 4 games. You got your so you do them that way. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, let's try to get these many wins in this here. So you try to do it that way. Like I said, it's different, you know, with other coaches and stuff like that. Like I said, I've never been in a meeting with Coach Allen, so I don't know how he goes about it. But I was underneath Coach Payton, and I saw a lot of things. But it's different. It's different, but, you know, I'm always, you know, on that other side of we're going to do well. So I'm never looking at, oh, my God, we're going to get blowed out. Like, I'm always on the side, like, nah
we got this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm always think like that.
Of
you
course,
know,
yeah.
On that level, you know. And you have fans that oh, we're not going to win. We're not. I mean, it is what it is, but I done been on both sides. So, you know, as a true fan, and I love every minute of it, it's just, you know, I want those guys to go out there and just give them their all. You know, as long as I know you're giving your all, and, you know, you got to let the chips fall where they fall at.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. You know, I just want those guys to just keep on grinding.
Yeah, I think that's a great mindset that we're getting from you today, is that you don't only see it from the player perspective, you see it from the fan perspective too, because that's where you've been.
Yes.
You've been on both sides. You understand both sides. So I think that's a really great mindset to have, is kind of seeing the game from both ends.
Yeah, well, you get to see it from both ends, and you get to critique it from both sides, because there's a lot of stuff that fans see or think they see, and they really don't see. You know,
Yeah.
Looking from the outside in is totally different from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I always tell people all the time, and they was like, man, I was watching the game, Mike, and you should have ran this way, and you should have did this and this. I say, do you understand it's called a play? I can't do what I want to do.
It's drawn up beforehand.
You know, and if I do what I want to do and something bad happened, I'm going to be sitting on the couch with you, coaching like you doing to me. And plus you sitting down watching the TV where you seeing it from the sky. I'm flat. I can't see all the stuff that's happening up there. It'd be a whole different situation if I had something
Eagle
on top
vision,
and could just tell me, you know, okay, they about to do it, you do. Nah, but it's different though, you know. And I like to sit down and listen to what fans got to say, because fans are some of them are great, some of them are funny as all outdoors. You know, it's like they can tell you everything that goes on or whatever, and it's like, man, it's not that easy.
Especially Saints fans. Saints fans are passionate.
You
You mentioned it earlier. I mean,
we die hard. We die, and we died hard for a long time. So yeah, we die hard fans for real.
Absolutely.
You know, so I love our fans. I never had a problem with our fans. You know, and I love when they mad and they tell you how they feel. I mean, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I love it because it shows me that they really do care. You know what I'm saying? It's not just and everybody always say, you know, and I always tell people, I say, we're not a Louisiana team like the Denver Broncos is, you know. Nah, we're a regional team. I say we got fans from Louisiana that goes through Mississippi, that goes through Alabama, and it also picks up a part of Florida.
Yeah.
So we're a southern regional team. Like we got fans coming from all over. So, and I love it because you get that. Like, you know, when you travel and you go to these different states and you get to see, you know, these are still Saints fans.
Yeah, I mean, I went up to Boston a few months ago, and we my family chose a day we were all going to wear Saints jerseys, and we got like 19 Hoodats or something like that.
Bruh,
I mean, they're everywhere.
Hey, you know, they talk about Dallas is the
America's
team, but that played out.
I think that's back in the 90s, right? We done switched it up a little bit.
Yeah. Everybody get a little taste of America's team now. Everybody getting a little bit of it.
Yeah, I hear you. You kind of mentioned it earlier. New Orleans Saints goes as the fans go, and the fans go as the Saints go.
Yes.
So I think the more we succeed, the more the city succeeds, the more the fans succeed in life. I mean, it's something really beautiful to watch how New Orleans reacts to just the foot. Like people say, oh, it's just a football team, but to us,
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
just a football team.
Way
How
too
many
much more.
times, let's be honest, how many times, and I'm going to go as a fan, how many times we lose on Sunday and our Mondays are not.
Every time, it doesn't matter who we play.
It could be 90 degrees outside, the sun shining and everything. If we lose, it's a gloomy Monday.
Yep.
I be so mad, and I don't play no more. I'm so mad. I be so mad, like, don't talk to me. I don't want to watch no ESPN. I don't want to hear nothing about the game. I be like, when Monday Night Football coming on? Because I don't want to hear nothing the commentators got to say about what we did wrong. I'm like, bro, I saw it. I don't want to hear it.
Once another football game starts, everybody will stop talking about it. We can move on.
Yes, exactly.
I hear you. So you're down in New Orleans this weekend,
Yes.
going to the game tomorrow. What you got going on this weekend? What are we doing down in New Orleans? Any fun stuff planned?
You know what? I try not to do no fun stuff, man. I just try to go to the game and have a good time. I mean, I know I'm going to be, walking around and stuff like that, taking pictures and all of that type of stuff there. So I try not to worry about, I don't do no hanging out and things like that. Like I get to the game early and I might walk, Champion Square or something like that. I might
Got
just
you.
poke my head in and just, told you, man, I do normal stuff, man. I'm like
Normal
normal
man.
people stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just try to do some normal things. So
No, yeah, I love that. I
that's-
respect that.
That's all it is, man. I come down for the games. I do the games. Try to be there at every home game. I just love being in the dome. It's just different. And then I get to sit in the stands. I go on the sidelines before the game and stuff like that. But just sitting in the stands and just watching how crazy our fans are, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a different atmosphere down here in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. And
It's
if
different.
we rocking and we really rocking, it could be noisy.
Oh,
It can be noisy.
Undoubtedly.
It can get loud. And I love every minute of it. Now I'll be chilling because, I don't be into all of it. I just be sitting back and just,
You're watching the fans. more than the
just
game.
admiring everything. Be like, okay, this is how crazy it used to be. Because, when you're on the field, you can hear it.
but you're not focusing on it.
No,
No, you got to pay attention to the football itself.
you be looking for your head. Yeah, but it's different. Like, even when I leave and I go, like I used to go to the Atlanta game every year, just sitting in the stands, listening to their fans, and then listening to how we used to just take over Atlanta. It's different. It's different. It's just, talking trash and stuff like that. Every now and then I can talk a little trash.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, I talk trash like a fan, because a lot of people, like I said, I go in there like a normal person. I might have me a little Saints t-shirt on and some jeans or something on, some sweats. Just you would never know.
Right.
If you don't know me, you would not
You would
know that
never know.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
And I act like a fan, especially in Atlanta. I'm acting like one of the crazy fans. I'm
I think that's
talking
refreshing.
crazy,
Yeah.
and it is.
Yeah.
It is, because you get to lay your hair down and just act crazy and just
Yeah.
do what New Orleans fans do. Have a fun, just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun, and they'd be so happy when we win and just walk
Oh.
out there and they got their head down.
Head down, just complaining all the refs. Oh, that
Yeah.
they were cheating, blah, 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 blah. But you're like, hey, last time I checked, black and gold got to win today.
Oh yeah. And then we done went down the road where referees cause us some games, and as soon as we say something, Atlanta fans always got something else to say. Oh, you should have did this and that and all this here. So it
Just
goes
hit them with the
both ways.
28-3. Just
I
all
ain't
you got to
gotta-
let them know.
Nah, see, y'all hit them with that. That don't bother me. Even though I was happy that happened or whatever, I just hit them with, we got a Super Bowl and y'all
don't,
don't.
yeah.
That's
Yep.
all that matters to me. I don't
Yep.
care how many they went to 2 and they lost both of them. You don't have one, you can't tell me nothing.
There it is.
I always tell Atlanta fans, I say, y'all gonna always be our little brother. What you mean? I say, first of all, we got the Super Bowl on y'all, so y'all ain't got a Super Bowl. So, okay, that's one. I said, secondly, we had the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Now y'all got the Mercedes-Benz Dome or whatever it is, whatever they got. I said, following behind us once again. So follow the big brother and do what we do. So so I get something about that.
Trying to play keep up, right?
Yeah, they trying, but it just can't.
Yeah.
It's just not working.
No.
Yeah, I think it's really refreshing to hear this standpoint from a former player, not trying to be all prim and proper, wearing a suit, talking about like, oh yeah, man, these cornerbacks really need to use their technique and flip their hips, and you're just acting like you're a normal guy,
I am
normal fan,
normal.
and that's what I love about you though. That you're just sitting, you're not acting like you're somebody you're not.
Well, I mean, I only know how to be me.
That's very true.
So, I don't mind putting on the suit and stuff. Like, I
I
love the
hear you.
suit thing.
I hear you.
It'd be like, but I mean, if I had the choice to pick in a t-shirt and some sweatpants or a suit, I'm going with the t-shirt and sweatpants any day, you know. But, you know, every now and then you want to look clean up there at the tie and
Get a
little dapper. Yeah, you know, but when you can lay your head on, you have fun, and it's not about the X's and O's, you know, all the time, you know. And when if this episode was about that thing, then you can say, okay, yeah, they need to do more of this, and this, you know.
Yeah.
And it comes from a whole different perspective, you know. And right now, it's not about X's and O's. It's about wins and losses.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
At this point, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get our wins above our losses. So, you know, and that's what makes everything special about, you know, having the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to actually sit down, you know, in front of you two guys, you know, and talk, you know, to everybody and get a different perspective, like you say, you know what I'm saying, from the inside looking out, you know what I'm saying, from a player's perspective, from a fan to a player to a fan again perspective of, you know, how it really works, you know. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand, you know, what these guys go through during the week to prepare for Sunday, you know. And, you know, when I talk to kids, they always talking about, oh, man, I want to be a professional athlete, man. Y'all have fun. I'm like, man, it's not that way.
You see it on TV, but what you don't see is the other 6 days.
You don't see, we go to work at 7 in the morning, and we in meetings all day. We go to practice, and when I tell them we only practice an hour and 45 minutes, they be like, huh? What you do the rest of the day? I'm in the classroom like y'all. I'm in the classroom. I'm learning plays. I'm learning these different things. I'm learning cornerbacks. I'm learning all this type of stuff. You take your test on Friday. I take mine on Sunday. The difference is if you make a bad grade, you got time to recover from that. I make a bad grade on Sunday, I could be looking for a job.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, you know, and it happened to me, so I know how it feels, you know. When you get your bad grade, I get my bad grade, it's a pink slip. And it's, you know, pack your bags up and we're going to box and send your stuff to your house. You know, it makes a difference, you know. But, you know, and I don't discourage them from wanting to be athletes, you know what I'm saying? But I always tell them that, you know, we are always in the classroom. You know, back in the days, they used to always call football players and athletes dumb jocks. That's just a typical thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's, you got to know everything that goes on. If you don't, it will show and you will be gone. Trust me, if you don't know what you're doing, you will get exposed real fast and you will be out the door just as fast as you get exposed. So I always tell them, like, dude, we studying every day. Like, we in this room studying. I got to study my butt off.
Yeah, that's something I think that's really underrated for professional athletes in general, not just NFL players, is not only do you have to be the most talented at what you do, you got to be the smartest about it too.
Yes.
The intelligence level that these players have to absorb all this new information in a week and put it onto the field, not only from the physical side, but from the mental side, that's leaps and bounds above what people think about.
It's 90% football and basketball and all these different sports is 90% mental. You got to be tough here. The physical part, you already have that because you didn't work your body and your body is already then toned into where it needs to be at. At the end of the day, it's all up here. And I always tell my kids when I'm training them and stuff, and I always ask them the first thing. I say, in the fourth quarter, you got 2 minutes left in the game. What's the first thing to go in your body? Everybody, your legs. No. Your mind gone, it shuts down everything else.
Yeah.
So you keep a strong mind, the rest of the body going to follow behind it. And I always try to keep my kids sharp up here. Because if you can keep your mind sharp up here, man, the rest of the stuff is easy. You know, and they say, well, how you do that? I say, first of all, we're going to learn breathing technique. I say, because when you're dead tired and you're breathing the wrong way, you don't get enough oxygen to your brain, so it shuts down. So now it's always killing everything.
Yeah.
So you learn how to breathe. You breathe properly. Take deep breaths and slow it out your mouth or whatever. In the nose, real deep. Letting all oxygen. You open up your lungs. You're letting all oxygen. You get the focus. Your mind ain't cloudy. All that oxygen opens it up, so it clears up a lot of things. So now you get the focus and stuff like that. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. And I make all my kids, don't bend over. Do not cut off your windpipe. Stand straight up. Take deep breaths. You're focused. You can see everything. Yeah. And when you know a guy tired and he bent over, he breathing hard, I'm about to tear him up because I know he's not focused. So I'm about to get around him because he's trying to catch his breath instead of him trying to focus on what he needs to focus on. Just a little tip, you know.
Yeah.
I know nobody, you know.
Beer man Michael Lewis went from being a little New Orleans kid, not even playing high school football, driving a beer truck, went to the NFL. Now you're training people to get there if they want to.
I'm trying.
Sounds like you're doing pretty well if you got some people playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a couple of guys. Matter of fact, I got a guy that's playing tomorrow for Cincinnati, Michael Thomas. He's on the special team as well.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas.
He had a good week last week, filling in for injured T. Higgins.
Yeah, that's my guy, man.
I
I trained
like
him. Matter of fact, I had him and the craziest thing, man, these guys drove me up the wall. I had my first year I had about 20 guys at one time. Maybe a little bit more because some of them left and went somewhere else, and most of them stayed. But my 2 guys, man, that I had that's actually balling right now, Michael Thomas. I trained Tyreek Hill as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's a name.
yeah, and it's so funny when you get those guys and their mindset on where they're at, and when you start breaking stuff down to them where they need to be at, it's totally different. You know, I'm like, dude, it's not college. This is
Yeah.
now you're getting ready for a whole different atmosphere. So, you know, but dealing with those guys and the work that they put in, and, you know, I am gratefully happy that those guys are, you know, being successful at what they're doing, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure those guys are eternally grateful for what you've done for them too. I mean, you look at both of those guys; they kind of made their name on special teams before
yeah.
moving on to the offensive side of the ball.
Yes.
So I think that kind of speaks to what you did for them and what you're doing for everybody else too. Especially what you're doing for us right now. We really want to thank you for coming on here. This has been awesome.
No problem, man. I mean, I appreciate y'all having me. you
Yeah,
know.
you've given us some great information. I know the people really appreciate it as well. Couldn't
Thank
ask
them as well, you know.
Yeah, couldn't
Glad
ask
they
for a
was
better
checking
time.
in. Hey, man, look, we trying to get a who dat, not a who day.
I hear that. Who that, baby? So, any final thoughts? What's going on in the life of Michael Lewis right now?
Man, just training kids. You know, my biggest thing is, man, is open up my own training facility. Is actually what I'm working on. You know, that's my big thing right there. Man.
And where would that be at?
The first one that I'm working on is going to be in Houston, Texas. I'm going to do it there, but I want to set it up to the point to where I can actually open up multiple ones.
Okay.
You know, in different places and things like that. That's a goal that I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? Putting them to places where kids can come. I have big things that I really want to do, not just about the training part, but also, you know, giving back to kids and stuff like that. You know, also have a safe place for them to go to when it comes down to their education as well. So, you know, it's things like that that I'm looking at, you know, wanting to do for those young kids, you know. So, you know, having a safe place where they can go and train and do certain things and, you know, explain to them, you know, it's not just about being an athlete or whatever, you know, but also trying to make them better women and men as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what we looking forward to, you know, and the things that I'm, you know, going on forward with. So that's what's going on in life of Mike.
Absolutely love that. Super humble for a former NFL player who, you know, made his name All-Pro, Pro Bowl, in the Saints Hall of Fame, and still got that great attitude. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on today, Michael. We really appreciate you. We also want to thank some mutual friends of ours, Big B Sound Man, Thug Nasty, and Peanut. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. Shout out all those people. We want to thank Radio House Studios for letting the Off the Dome Sports podcast get this opportunity to talk to such a great man and player in Michael Lewis, newrockradio.us, newcountryradio.us, everyone who's watching at home. We want to thank everybody so much. And one more time, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, man,
we really
appreciate y'all
you.
having me. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been the Off the Dome Sports Podcast. We really appreciate everyone for watching. One more time, appreciate Michael Lewis for coming on. Thank you. You will see us again soon. Cheers.